welcome back. I'm Saima Alibhai and I'm here with Nick Schwartz, the CIO of Happy Feet. Nick, welcome to the lounge. It's great to have you here. So we've just heard all about ACS and LCS, and now we want to hear a real use case. But first, tell us about Happy Feet. What does the business do?
Well, thanks for having me. Happy Feet is a luxury vinyl plank company. So we sell flooring to both residential and commercial usages. It was established in 2012 by a father and son team, and they went from a handful of clients in their garage to now over 3,500 clients. And last year, so this building that we're in is 550,000 square feet, and we could have refloored this building 81 times.
Oh, wow.
Last year. So fantastic.
That's incredible.
Yeah, love working for the company. Absolutely amazing to work for. Has been a real stellar. I've been with them for 3 years.
Yep.
It's been stellar. So.
Excellent. And what's uniquely challenging about running a business like this?
So we have everything. So a lot of our stuff comes from, we are a distributor to dealers, and a lot of our stuff comes from across seas, international. So we have a lot of international freight coming in. We have our domestic freight coming in, so logistics is a huge concern. During their expansion, they moved up to about 8 warehouses. So we're more decentralized than ever these days. So we have places out in Chino, California, all the way over to Tennessee, and we come in through all 3 of the southern ports. So the Texas and Savannah and Chino, we do a ton of business through there. And we have to navigate that with our clients who, to be frank, the biggest issue that we have in the flooring industry is that they are not the most technologically advanced people.
Okay.
They are a lot of homegrown businesses, which is fantastic, and we love supporting those, but sometimes those interactions can be a little tough. So using our technology to give them places for portals and things like that to see their business was really what our goal was long term. And the way we have gotten there was, of course, NetSuite.
Yeah.
And we're still in our, we're still just primary users. We've only been using for 2 years. So we are still kind of, growing our own stuff and really hitting our stride right about now.
Yeah, so, tell us how NetSuite helps with that. So you sort of talk to us about the challenges, and how does NetSuite help with all of this?
So one of the ones that I talked about during another thing earlier during the conference was we were talking about basically change management stubbornness. And huge problem amongst all companies. I'm sure everybody has it. You change the system, may not always go the best. And there are people who are like, well, we did it this way for 20 years. And we get it, we understand that. And one of the good things that we had with NetSuite with that was there was a ton of training stuff out there for it. You've got a lot of people who can get you to the right level and go, hey, I know you want to do it that way, and we understand your process. If we just tweak your process a little bit, we can kind of get it into the defaults over here, and you cannot have to have any customizations for this anymore, things like that. It's a beautiful thing to get those people together and work for that, but it is the biggest challenge is going, I know your process is this, and I'm sorry, but why don't we try another way for a few months and see how we like it?
Yeah.
On top of that, you have a big issue with the technology usage as I spoke to, and that includes both external clients, like I said, but also our internal team. Most of our sales force was not used to using technology on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
And to bring the company to where we wanted to grow to, we had to change that.
Yeah.
And you can't change that without going out and buying technology to start with in the first place.
Absolutely, and we were speaking earlier, and you mentioned that you guys have an in-house team, right?
Yeah.
You have a team that sort of gets development done, that runs projects for you. You have project managers. So why did you decide to partner with ACS, and what obstacles were you looking to overcome?
So I have to say our deployment went fantastic, but our follow-up developer third parties that we got. Frankly, they were crap. I have no other way to say it. We have no problems working with different companies, but my personal thing is if you mess up a project more than once, we're probably not going to keep going with you.
Right.
And after the third and fourth and fifth partners we kept finding who couldn't complete the simple tasks, we knew we had to make a big difference in the first place. And our team, we like to fix our stuff. We love to fix our stuff, but we may not necessarily want to do the development work to get us to there, or we may not know the feature we're supposed to use. So one of the best things about working with them is they'll also teach us how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And we love that education. We use LCS to throw that in there and help being able to talk to them on the same level and things like that.
Yeah, and you know, I actually come from the ACS team, so to hear you talk about ACS like this, it really sort of reinforces the value of ACS, because we've talked and heard a lot today about ACS taking customer through the journey. And essentially the ACS team is an extension of your team. So just like you said, we don't have to do all of your development. We don't have to take ownership of every single project. You can still keep that and just assign tasks to us and say, hey, ACS, we have this project going on. We have a project manager. We want to run the project, but we want you guys to take over these tasks. Or how about you guys show us, you know, how to do this, and we're more than happy to do that. So we're very much an extension of your team. So it's great to sort of hear you.
That's actually how I consider them. I absolutely love working with our ACS team, and we entirely give them smaller, more contained sections of our bigger projects for them to knock out some of what could be busy work for us, or just maybe work that we don't have time to get to keep the project on track. And they are amazing at handling that.
And you know, we've talked a little bit about why you've partnered with ACS and how ACS has sort of helped you to overcome these challenges with the partnership that we have. So working with the ACS team, how has that helped you to leverage using more of the suite?
So there's been a ton of features that they've actually, you know, we'll bring them a problem or you know, hey, how would you guys do this if you were going to do it? And they're like, oh, well, hey, this feature's over here. I don't know if you know about that. We can show you how to use this feature, help you set it up, or we can set it up for you. And I would say once or twice a month we have some scenarios. There's so many features and so much functionality in NetSuite. You can't have all the knowledge yourself. You have to go out and find that knowledge. And you can't move forward and empower your company to make better decisions if you don't know that there's a better decision waiting around the corner that you just had to ask somebody about. Yeah,
indeed. And you know, you said you've been with NetSuite for 2 years. So tell us, you know, why will you continue to leverage using ACS?
So I like to keep my department small and really dig into our actual problems. The basic work, you know, your technical tickets, reset a password, make a new report, those aren't really the crutch of our department. Those are what we do during the day. What we're good at is knowing, okay, I know the warehouse functions this way. I know they function this way, and here's how we need to function. Our sales team needs this data. And then we go and say, all right, ACS, here's what they do, here's what these people need. Tell us how to get there, or how you would get it there. We may tweak it a little bit, but generally, we're able to, like right now, our cadence with ACS is bi-weekly calls, and usually it's discussing very specific information about a current project, maybe discuss some future project and what's next up in our queue, but we're already 3 or 4 projects down the line with them, and I have no desire to start managing an in-house development team that I have to train and know the system, spend all the money to get all that, employ them. It's just not worth it. It's much better to go with ACS.
Indeed, I totally agree. As I said, you know, all the magic happens in ACS. Yeah. I'm from the ACS team. So Nick, tell us, why is this level of support with ACS crucial for a business to be able to leverage a system like NetSuite successfully?
You spent the money to buy NetSuite. You got to know how to use it. And if you're going to do development in it, and everybody has to do development. I guarantee you there's very few companies out there that it has not been like, I need a new report after 2 or 3 years. They're going to need something. And do you want to hire those people? Do you want to train? Do you want to employ them? Or do you want to worry about what your job is to do, which if you went with a partner in the first place, you're going to have to do that. You might as well get one that knows the system better than the next people, because it'll save you. My first experience was saving hundreds of thousands of dollars with ACS, and I was unaware it was an ACS team member.
Okay.
My rep, who's fantastic, her name is Emily Beggs. She got a tense phone call from me, and where I was told some misinformation by a third party in the middle of one of our projects. She got the quote I wanted, but she also went out and got her manager on the call and a member that I found out was from ACS. And again, he did exactly what I said. He was like, hey, I'm really sorry you've been given some information. Here's where you correct that. Here's how you do it. Can we do it for you? And I was like, I got to go fire some people, excuse me. and we honestly, we dropped our third-party development directly at that point. We were no longer comfortable spending tens of thousands of dollars for these little projects and getting things, up to snuff and having a new relationship and okay, we have to know how to do our business and blah, blah, blah. Half of them didn't care to know how we did our business.
Yeah.
And they weren't good partners. So if you're you got to trust your partner.
Absolutely, you really do. So Nick, final question. What would you tell another customer about your experience with ACS?
I would actually hit back on the same things. You have to trust your partner, and if you're not using those partners as extensions of your teams, and of course I'm very partial to ACS because they've really helped me, so I'm going to say for ACS, if I wasn't using them as an extension of my team and I was just saying, here's my big project, I'm not going to feel comfortable in my first couple of projects. For one, I need to build a cadence with ACS. I need to have them have success. They need success just as much as we need success to be successful together. So we really want to bring that, I would say bring that together, have the boring phone calls, have the calls where they're like, okay, so how do you do this process? And you like, I have to click this button, click this button, click this button. And they're boring, I get it, they're boring, but they're super necessary. It's important to make sure that your relationship with that team is successful.
Well, Nick, there's no better way to end. And with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for our conversation today. It's been a pleasure. And I'd now like to, speaking of support actually, I want to pass it over to Bursley, who's at the training grounds on the expo floor. But before we go to Bursley, Nick, I know you did mention that it's your second time at SuiteWorld.
It is.
So tell me, what's been your highlight so far?
So I actually got to do the keynote yesterday with the innovation product. I got
Congratulations.
To be a part of that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's been my first real speaking event for a long time, as we've been in the technology sector trying to get some work done with this new company, switching jobs previously and transferring that over cleanly. I haven't had a lot of time to. So it's really nice to be able to get back into that. And I'll tell you, the two, Nat and Reg, were fantastic to both be around and to have conversations with before and after about how passionate they are about trying to get the right tools to the right customer.